You just gone bankrupt and you want to do some more of the same thing that drove you bankrupt, you stupid jerk? And you find you have very little problem with the rest of South and Central America because they are jerks. But if we got our act together, they're going to jump in. You're going to make a lot of the fascist types down there very unhappy because they've been stealing for greatly out of the people and so forth. And you're going to have to stop that. You won't stop it directly. It'll stop automatically. If you support the kinds of trade and development which they need, the other things are going to go bankrupt because people don't want them. They give them no way of survival. But you have to make this clear to people. You have to educate people. Don't go with what people say, we'll compromise with you on this thing. We want this. We'll give you some of this if you give us this. No, you don't get any. We don't give you any of that. Huh? Go see your psychiatrist. There are certain principles that work in economy. They're established historically as things that work. What is being done now does not work. We're now in a crashed economy. Any attempt to go back to the things that people think they should get would be the death of them. You know, in the end, this truth is important. And going by popular opinion and compromise, that's why we have so many compromised people. Because they compromise too much and it's spread. And they come up as compromised. The trick in science is there is a solution and there's a non-solution. And this is a scientific problem. And a scientific problem is defined by solutions, which are scientific grade solutions. And if you are intelligent, you accept those solutions as practice. If you don't accept those solutions, you're a dead bunny right now. And you have to talk to people that way. Because they will tell you, but I have an opinion. I know, it'll kill you. But I have a right to do that. Well, you can't do it in our country. Go off and do it in your own country. We'll try to do something for you when you come to your senses. And you've got to think and talk that way. And we in the United States, because of our unique role in history, have within us the authority to say things in this way. But we gain the authority by throwing Obama out of office and by applying Glass-Steagall, Roosevelt style, to the damn banking system. Once you've done that, you've changed the rules by removing the rules that they wanted. Once you have removed the disease, which they wanted to take, once you kill the epidemic, they can't have the epidemic to play with anymore. So they have to give up the epidemic, the foolish ideas which are the disease which threatens the existence of civilization today. And you will never, never, it's like dealing with children, like competent parents who deal with children who are of sometimes indifferent competence. And you say, no. Because you're dealing with children. You're dealing with nations which are like children. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And you've got to get them to keep their hands out of the fire and keep them out of the poison chest. Because they're acting like children. And the standard here is not opinion. The standard here is science. What works? What works? You want a job? Yes. Okay, you willing to look for a job? To take a job? Are you willing to accept the terms of doing this job, employment? Are you willing to survive? Are you willing to live? Are you willing to restore a medical care system that will take care of you? Are you willing to go back to the things you stopped, which you shouldn't have stopped? Are you willing to become sane? And not assume that your opinion has any authority just because it's your opinion? Your opinion has to be chosen by you from things that are competent. The fact that you like it, like a child who's sucking poisons, you don't say, don't interfere, he likes it. That's what people do. And if we can't do that, that I've just outlined, in that perspective, there isn't a chance for civilization. If you disagree with me, there's no chance for civilization. And that's what the situation is right now. And I think what I've said here also will shock you in a sense of realizing what I'm saying. Certain options which people think are opinion-based options are not options. They're suicidal. At this time, they're suicidal. To accept those options and demand them is to commit suicide. Now, this is going to be the case for a long time to come because we're going into the solar system. If we get through this, we're going to go into the solar system in a big way. And when you're going into the solar system, which has no climate suited for your habitation right now, all kinds of problems, environmental problems of the type you've never imagined before until you thought about this. Therefore, you're going to behave yourself. You're going to have to create structures of behavior and means to assist that, which are going into strange climates, which the best option on hand, probably the safest is the moon for the time being, though it's not a very recommended place to dwell for any length of time. But it's convenient to us, shall we say. We might be able to manage something. But Mars, the Mars objective is the key objective. And henceforth, we have to make a firm position on that, on the Mars objective, and why. And I'm sure Sky and company will be able to do that. We've got two things. We've got the Russia options, which involve other things in Asia, the Russia Arctic operations. And that's going to be a big factor here on Earth. And then we have our own American projects, typified by NWAPA, which have to be started now. That will be the biggest driver we have on hand, is simply laying out starting NWAPA. And just starting it will start the greatest economic growth you can imagine in the United States. It will come up slowly, but it will come up at an accelerating rate. We're going to take the Pacific area, going to do the same thing. Without what I laid out as the procedure for the United States. Throw the bum out. Without question, he's out. Glass-Steagall, immediately, Franklin Roosevelt style, exactly. No changes, no alterations. There may be admissible alterations in form, but we're not going to allow them. Because once we open the gates for debating what the modifications might be, you're going to have an impossible situation. So no modifications. Franklin Roosevelt, Glass-Steagall, that's it, no difference. Secondly, we need to go back to get rid of this Federal Reserve System, which is totally bankrupt now. It's hopelessly bankrupt. Don't even try to save it. The toilet's already jammed.